National championship teams sometimes need some help, either in their stadium or elsewhere, to get the road to glory. In 2011 for Alabama, they needed Oklahoma State upset at Iowa State. The 2012 Crimson Tide needed help from Texas A&M slipping up, and Georgia trapping the ball at the 4-yard line in the SEC championship game. 2013, Florida State survived a few scares. Of course, 2014, Ohio State needed TCU to lose to Baylor after being down by 3 touchdowns to get a nod to the college football playoff. You know, in 2015 for Alabama last year, they needed Hunter Henry and Alex Collins to pull off a 4th and 25 miracle against Ole Miss to make it to Atlanta and then the college football playoff. So this is the way college football works. You just can't be good, but you need some breaks. And for Clemson on Saturday, those breaks came in their own stadium against North Carolina State via the field goal kicker who missed 3 field goals. So Clemson holds off North Carolina State in overtime, 24-17, a closer game than I anticipated. North Carolina State had not looked good against the likes of East Carolina. They beat Notre Dame in a monsoon, and of course the Irish have lost 5 games anyway. So this was their first true test, and North Carolina State showed me and college football something. This was a 3-3 game late second quarter. Deshaun Watson, one of the best in the 2-minute drill. We saw it against Louisville at the end of the first half. He pulled off 4 consecutive completions in the last 31 seconds against a top-level defense in Louisville to get a touchdown to make it 28-10 at the half. In this game, with just about 2 minutes left on the clock, Deshaun Watson engineered a 10-play, 75-yard drive. He went 8 for 9 on the drive, and it was 10-3 Clemson at the half. Mike Stevens had a pick 6 for North Carolina State, his first career interception, first pick 6 in Deshaun Watson's career. And suddenly we get a 10-10 game. There were a couple of crazy strips of the football by North Carolina State defenders off Clemson turnovers. One was a Mike Williams play. Williams was spectacular on this day when he didn't lose the fumble. 12 catches, 146 and a touchdown. But the play made by Niles Clark and also Sean Boone returned it some 66 yards for North Carolina State. But the Clemson defense continued to hold. It is one of the finer defenses in college football. Also, Tashawn Dye, his only carry for Clemson. Wayne Gallman was taken to the locker room after just 2 carries. So Dye and others had to carry the football for Clemson. Tre'Davious Wright had a big strip and recovery against Tashawn Dye. That was huge for North Carolina State in keeping the game close. Christian Wilkins blocked a field goal for Clemson to keep the game at 10-10. All right, it was 17-10. North Carolina State puts together a drive. They get a key 4th down pass interference call that opened the way to make it 17-all. But Kyle Bambard, he missed the 3 field goals. Okay, the one was blocked by Wilkins. He missed one earlier, and then the game was right on his foot. 33-yard field goal to beat Clemson in Death Valley, and he missed it. So they go to overtime, and Clemson, Deshaun Watson get the job done. It was Watson going 4 for 4 from the 25-yard line. They converted a 4th and 1, and Artavis Scott scores to make it 24-17. And then one play, Ryan Finley, who came into this game with no interceptions in 5 games, threw one to Marcus Edmond. And that closed out the game. Clemson wins it over North Carolina State. So sometimes you pull out games because you make the plays like Ohio State did on Saturday night against Wisconsin. Sometimes the plays find you. Clemson survives because of the foot of Kyle Bambard not getting the job done, especially with 5 seconds left. But that's the way football goes. Clemson will go to Florida State in 2 weeks to take on the Noles. They didn't show us much offensively again this week in defeating Wake Forest at 17-6. And for North Carolina State, they play their best ball game of the year in a loss at Clemson against one of the best teams in the country. They will take on Louisville, another top-notch team, number 7 in the land, on the road. So let's see if North Carolina State can show us something 2 weeks in a row. Can they get up for a top-shelf opponent 2 consecutive weeks on the road? Difficult assignment for the Wolfpack. Need to hear from you on Clemson, Louisville, Florida State. Obviously, we've got the Tigers and the Noles going at it in 2 weeks. We're talking about the Wolfpack possibly being one of the better second-tier teams in the ACC, with Miami and North Carolina going at it as well on Saturday. Need to hear from you now on Mark Rogers TV.